I must make it abundantly clear that the person I spoke to on the phone said that in all the years they had worked for the Red Cross, they had never seen such a scramble for resources like this before. They had never seen such a buildup of resources like they have before. Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So I got some more breaking news for you today. The plot continues to thicken, guys. I got a phone call last night from somebody who works closely within the Red Cross, and they gave me some very critical information that I need to share with you today. Now, I'm not going to provide a lot of details because I don't want them to be triangulated as a result of this, but I will say, and just to recap the video I did yesterday, we received a phone call yesterday from people within the Red Cross requesting that we send all of our meals ready to eat. Those are like military rations that we sell at our online store to them as quickly as possible. They needed them to be in Ottawa by 12 today. So it would have been an overnight freight, which would have cost thousands and thousands of dollars. Basically, every MRE would have cost twice the amount if we wanted to get it there that fast. And of course, for reasons I'm not going to get into, we haven't gone through with that deal. They needed this by today for some reason, and they wouldn't provide any insight as to what they needed it for. We presumed initially that it might be for the trucker convoy. They insisted that it was not for that purpose. They felt the need to insist that it wasn't for that. Perhaps they thought that we would be against the idea of sending the truckers food, which of course we wouldn't be, especially if it was the Red Cross who was distributing it, because the Red Cross is an apolitical organization, or at least in theory. They're not supposed to take sides in any conflict. They are not supposed to distribute provisions to the police or to any military. However, they can serve first responders. Now, that's just to the best of my knowledge. I'm not an expert in Red Cross and NGOs and how that all works, but apparently that's how it works, according to this insider who I spoke to. Now, the plot thickens because this individual contacted me via email, and I gave him a call, and we talked on the phone for a good 45 minutes or so, and the anxiety within their voice spoke volumes about what could potentially be going on in Ottawa right now. I almost had to bring them down a notch in terms of what the hypotheses were for what was potentially going on, because according to them, it's not only food that's being sourced by the Red Cross right now. It's truckloads upon truckloads of personal protective equipment. Now, I don't want to start some kind of rumor, okay, but I'm basically just communicating the information I have to you. I speculated that, okay, maybe the personal protective equipment was to be used for people who are going to be detained as a result of the crackdown, which is coming on the protesters, which we all know is coming in the next few days here. Ottawa Police and the RCMP have made that abundantly clear. Parliament is now wrapped in fences. They did that last night. So we know that things are getting heavy, and this is really starting to look a lot like what happened in the United States there at Capitol Hill. So we know that things are getting hot there. And yeah, just the fact that they're sending so much PPE, this person suspected that there might actually be something else going on. Now, I probed a lot to see, whether or not this might have something to do with another issue that's going on in the world right now. And they're not sure. They don't know. Of course, we know that the situation on the Ukrainian border is intensifying. There's different skirmishes going on between Russian separatists and Ukrainian nationalists on that border. Apparently, some kindergarten school got mortared or something like that. So there's pretexts potentially being set up by both sides to justify an attack or a conflict. We know that the war rhetoric is starting to escalate once again. We thought it was diffused. I mean, I never thought it was diffused. Some people thought it had diffused on Wednesday when Russia said that they were pulling their troops back. But as I've said before, you really have to understand that every media announcement that any country gives at this point is just there to try to throw off or bamboozle the other side. So whether or not this stuff, which is being sent to Ottawa, which the Red Cross is trying to get from whatever private company they can find it from, and that should tell you a lot about, how prepared the government is to endure a disaster when you have the Red Cross trying to source whatever they can from small private businesses like our own. That should tell you how prepared the government is, and that's why you need to prepare yourself. Because if that's the situation, if they're sourcing from us, something's wrong, okay? We're not the biggest business, okay? We're a relatively small business. Yes, we could maybe help out to provide meals to people for a day or so, but, that's basically where our capabilities would end with respect to that. So you need to take preparedness into your own hands. I must make it abundantly clear that the person I spoke to on the phone said that in all the years they had worked for the Red Cross, they had never seen such a scramble for resources like this before. They had never seen such a buildup of resources like they have before. So this has me suspicious as to what's really, really going on. Again, we've never seen protests in Ottawa like this before. We've never had a situation by which thousands of people might have to be forcefully removed from the city before. So it could just be that, or there could be something else global that is brewing. And as I've said before countless times, it's a spy versus spy game going on behind the scenes. And it's a big club and we ain't in it. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We are going to be the last people to know when this war actually goes full-on kinetic, because the war is already going on. The information war, the economic war has already been waged for years and years. It's never stopped. It's only a matter of time before it goes kinetic. Are they starting to stockpile stuff in place? Is the Red Cross working for Justin Trudeau and they just want to feed his bunker? Maybe. No, I'm just joking, obviously. But that was a comment that somebody made on my Instagram. They said that maybe Justin Trudeau is trying to load up his bunker for World War III. And like hell, Justin, are you getting all of our MREs? It's never going to happen. But maybe I can charge him inflation prices. Maybe I'll put a tax on Justin Trudeau and charge him like 3 or 4 times the amount for an MRE, and then give half of that money to charity. Now, I should say I received an email from an Ottawa resident last night who shared a different side of the story, okay? And, usually within this community, most people are pretty pro what's going on there right now. And there is another side to the story that I think people should hear. This person sent me a very detailed email about how they do support the cause of what the truckers are representing there. However, they also said that life has become very unbearable with that whole situation there. And some people say, well, you live in the capital of the country, buy the ticket, take the ride. That's just the cost of living there. That if things were to go down, that's probably where it's going to go down. And I can understand where they're coming from. I can understand the position that, hey, we agree with what you're doing. However, it's making our lives very unbearable. It's creating a lot of tension in that region. And I guess I just want people to know that there is another side to the story. And what I will say is I think that campaign has been a success insofar as it's brought a lot of attention to the issue. Never has there been a protest of that magnitude in Canadian history, something which is now being spread across the world. So whoever partook in that, if that was your mission, mission accomplished, I would say. I'm just giving you my 2 cents. If you think that this has all been in vain, I can assure you I don't think it has. I think that you even got the conservatives on your side to say, hey, we support what you're saying. We don't support the use of the Emergency Powers Act, but we do think you should go home. Do I think that you're going to be able to achieve much more by sticking around there? I don't know. From like a Gandhi approach perspective, first they ignore you, then they attack you, then you win, or something like that. So, maybe sticking around there and getting arrested will serve some sort of political purpose. I don't know. Okay, like I said, I try to keep apolitical and impartial on this channel and just bring you guys the information so you can make your own informed decisions. But the big things I've learned in the last few days is that governments and NGOs are nowhere near as prepared to endure disaster as some people might think if they're having to source provisions from us. And we also know there is a massive buildup of supplies, not only food, but also medical supplies in Ottawa right now. What does it all mean? Nobody knows. I think it's related to the increased police presence. That would be the rational conclusion to come to, but we just don't know in light of all of the global tensions going on around the world, which are only ratcheting up. So guys, the time to prepare is now. Now, if you do have time, I'd encourage you to tune in this weekend for a video on the DEFCON system and how are you going to know when the shizzy is hitting the fizzy, because we all know that governments are going to remain secretive about a lot of things in order to minimize public panic. So how are you going to know if it's really going down or if things are really escalating behind the scenes? Anyways, guys, stay tuned, stay safe, and keep on prepping. Canadian Prepper out.